Good afternoon. Today it's my somber duty to discuss the death of 12-year-old Malinda Hoagland. We are here to announce that we have arrested Malinda's biological father, Rendell Hoagland, and his girlfriend, Cindy Warren, on charges of attempted homicide, aggravated assault of a child, kidnapping, and other related charges. As always in our justice system, these defendants are innocent until proven guilty, and what I'm going to be talking about today is going to be difficult to hear, and I may struggle to get some of the facts about this case out. So I ask that you please bear with me. On Saturday, May 4th, the West Caln Police Department and the Westwood EMS responded to a 911 call from Rendell Hoagland, who reported that Malinda was unconscious and non-responsive. Shockingly, they found a 12-year-old girl who was broken and barely alive. Our investigation revealed that Rendell Hoagland and Cindy Warren subjected Malinda to evil and torment that no child should ever have to endure, and they did it for months. After the 911 call, Malinda was whisked away to Paoli Trauma Center, and she was given top-flight medical treatment. But it was not enough. Doctors found a child that was emaciated. She weighed 50 pounds. She was covered in bruises. She had a half dozen broken bones at least. Her organs were failing. And ultimately, she died while she was being treated at the hospital. Our investigation began as soon as the 911 call ended. Police slowly learned that Malinda had been pulled out of middle school in late November and early December and shifted to an online cyber school. They reviewed cell phones used by Rendell Hoagland and Cindy Warren as part of the investigation. They noted that Cindy Warren had deleted a number of her text messages with Rendell. They found dozens and dozens of videos stored on both phones from the defendant's in-home camera system that also had speakers attached to those cameras. Those videos showed that Malinda was ankle cuffed to furniture and verbally berated by the defendants through that in-camera speaker system. The videos showed that they would punish her by demanding strenuous physical exercise, such as squats and running in place while she was still shackled. And they showed that she would be punished for perceived slights by being denied food, sometimes for days. And these videos started months ago. The punishments were seemingly systematic. Based on this and other evidence, we decided to charge the defendants with attempted murder. They were arrested last night. Their bail was set this morning at $1 million cash. We are awaiting a variety of medical-related reviews and reports to be concluded, at which point we will decide whether to charge the defendants with murder of Malinda. These reports can take weeks to obtain, and we'll determine whether those charges are warranted when we have a chance to thoroughly review all the evidence. And because this is an ongoing investigation with respect to those potential charges, I'm not going to be taking any hypothetical questions about murder today. But in the following days and weeks, everyone is going to ask, how could this happen to a 12-year-old in America? I don't have the answers right now, but what I can say immediately is that Malinda seemingly had limited access, incredibly limited access to the outside world from the moment that she was pulled from school. And what I can also say is that on Saturday night, when police and first responders truly encountered Malinda in a state where they could recognize something was wrong, they did everything in their power to save her. And while we wish that the 911 call had happened sooner, it's very clear that everyone rang every alarm in every direction to make sure that she was taken to the best place and that the best investigation could happen in an attempt to make sure that she could be safe if she could be saved. So if there's something to take from this right now, it's that if you have concerns about the safety of a child, even of a child that you hardly know, you should say something. Call 911. Call Childline at 1-800-932-0313. Childline reports can be even anonymous when you file them correctly. And if you think you have information about Malinda's case, please contact the Chester County detectives immediately at 610-344-6866. I want to end by saying a couple more things. First, Malinda's family has provided us with a photograph of her from when she was younger. That just came in recently. We're going to email that to you folks. Please consider using that in your visuals going forward. And I would be also remiss in not thanking all of our law enforcement partners in this case. I want to thank Chief Martinez from the West Caln Police Department, who's here to my left. The Pennsylvania State Police Troop J, who helped in a variety of different ways in multiple counties. I want to thank the West Brandywine Police Department, West Caln Township Police Department, South Coatesville Borough Police, Coatesville City Police, and other departments I'm sure I'm failing to recognize for their immediate and unquestioning assistance when we called asking for even small favors. And I want to thank the members of my office, essentially my entire team of county detectives and First Assistant District Attorney Aaron O'Brien, who worked essentially 72 hours straight to make this arrest last night happen, to give us an idea of what Malinda was truly facing. This is not an easy case. There is assuredly a lot more work to do. But together we will get justice for Malinda. Our thoughts and our prayers are with her and her family. I'll now open it up to your questions.
Were there other children in the home? Were there other children in the home?
There's a 9-year-old child in the home that is Cindy Warren's biological child. He appears to have been very well treated and unharmed and is out of her custody currently, obviously.
Did either of these two, Cindy in particular, have a prior history of abuse of a child?
So I am ethically constrained from answering questions about people's criminal histories in these press conferences. You can consult the materials and make a determination on your
Who pulled her out of school? Who pulled her out, her mother or the father?
Sorry, her biological mother is elsewhere in Pennsylvania. Her father and Cindy pulled her out of school is the best of our understanding currently. I know these two have been patiently trying to chime in, so.
Do you believe the abuse was occurring before she was pulled out of school, or the abuse started after that?
We're still working on a timeline. We have a lot of electronic evidence that we are working through right now, so I don't want to give, I want to make sure that I give precise answers when we can, but right now I can't answer that.
Has the school provided any information about her? Have you reached out to the school?
We've been working with every school that we can in the brief 72 hours that we have, really been going forward on this case full energy. So every agency that we've worked with has been cooperative so far. That's what I can say.
Do you know if she was appearing in person in the cyber school, and by in person, was she virtually showing up on camera?
She was virtually showing up on camera based on some of the videos that we reviewed, but she was shackled below for where the camera was.
There was nothing, no red flags from what they could visibly see?
No, I mean, when we executed search warrants at the house was in good condition. Currently, we do not see how anyone on the other side of that screen could have known what was going on. If that changes, we will update you.
Okay, and that being said, if things are looking okay on their end, there's no in-person follow-up happening when someone's pulled out of school and when the school, there's no obligation. I know you don't work for the district, there's no obligation for there to be home visits
we have a right to homeschool our children, right? And so while I think there was at some point a red flag raised by the school, back in the fall or early winter, I don't think there's anything anyone could have done at that time. We're still trying to determine what happened. Our focus has been on documenting, understanding injuries and pursuing charges.
For clarification, well, one, how do we spell her name? You said Belinda or Melinda?
Melinda,
How do we spell that?
I believe it's Malinda.
Melinda, last name is Hoagland?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you said it seemed like the torment was systematic, can you clarify what you mean by that?
We have dozens of videos that are date and time stamped, and it's repeated. It's systematic.
Like routine, like if you do this, this is what we do?
I don't know. I would like. We are still processing it, but that's just how I, in normal terms, would describe it.
Does she have a room in the house? Do they keep her in a certain area? Was she allowed outside? Any of that kind of thing?
She has a bedroom in the house. She was at times shackled in the basement of the home. She was outside on I think rare occasions, right? She was seen at a campground in Lancaster County over the weekend, right? But that's as far as we've gotten in terms of how frequently she was outside.
Can I ask about that campground? Is it believed that there was some abuse happening at that campground as well? Is that the second home for them?
I mean, they would frequent Jellystone in Lancaster County with some regularity, but I can't pin, we don't have precise answers on that right now.
Do you think the bike accident really happened?
I'm not going to speculate on what it is. Whether it happened or not, it doesn't account for dozens of broken bones and a 12-year-old being 50 pounds.
Did the abuse happen in the home or were there outbuildings?
There are outbuildings on the property. Right now, our focus is inside the home.
And what do you think? Viewed these videos again? These videos of the abuse, they then watched them? Like, they have like a library of them kind of thing?
No, I mean, you have to sort of, I know people don't think about this, but cell phones work a variety of different ways. So when you view a video, your phone will often store that video that you viewed somewhere else on the phone that you don't access. We call it cached. We're still working through the technical ways that these videos were preserved, but I don't believe, as I stand here right now, and again, this is ongoing, and we've been at this for no more than 3 full days, that they were purposefully saving these videos.
Can you give us an idea of what they did for a living, these two parents, and how
Sure.
they were able to basically pull the wool over the eyes of everybody while this was going on behind closed doors? I mean, there were no signs.
And look, my understanding is that Malinda Hoagland is a welder, and that Cindy Warren stays home, and they keep to themselves, right? And when you keep to yourselves, West Caln's not completely raw, but in a relatively, we're not on top of each other in row homes like we can be in Philadelphia, right? If you don't give an opportunity for children to get out, and if you can essentially, through a sheer terror campaign, train your child to not say anything because they're so terrified of the repercussions, this is apparently can happen.
And can you tell us if Melinda suffered from any kind of mental or health problem?
I don't, not to my knowledge as I stand right here, but we have a lot of medical records that we are slowly getting in that we need to review in this case. So I'm not that's just where we stand right now.
I gotta ask you
Physically,
a human question.
Sure.
You said, broken and barely alive, evil and tormented for months, 50 pounds, covered in bruises, half dozen broken bones, organ failure. I'm reading here, she allegedly had a hood over her head. As a human being, when you look at something like this, what goes through your mind?
I think we've all asked ourselves over the past few days, like, when the last time Malinda was ever loved. So it's an awful thing to think about.
Do you have any sense of why she was targeted and not the other children?
We're still investigating. Like I said, we felt like we had enough evidence to move forward with charges today. and we weren't going to wait another day to answer a lot of the same questions that everybody has. And we needed to make sure that based on what we saw, that they were in custody as soon as we could put them in custody. That's what we did. So I fully expect that we will be back before you in the coming days or weeks to try and shed some light on that. I will also tell you that in my experience in cases like this, there are no answers that make sense. It's a reminder that there is evil in this world, and we all need to be vigilant for it and come together as a community to make sure that we can be safe.
For clarification, you said attempted murder, but the docket says homicide, murder-homicide. What?
I call colloquially attempt murder, attempt homicide. They're the same thing.
Okay, so we can report that the charge that they're facing is homicide.
They're charged with attempted homicide
Okay.
or attempted murder, whichever one you would like to choose. All right, well, if there are no more questions, I want to thank you all for coming and reporting on this very difficult case. Thank you.